Good afternoon, folks. I'm just going to take a minute or two to set up a few things here. And as this is a very interactive session, the idea is, I'm going to ask that you go into your folders and pull out your resources. In there is a scavenger hunt that we're going to be using for this session. So, yeah. So the way this session's going to work this afternoon is I'm going to do some introductory slides to talk a little bit about the resources on the HHQRP website. Then we are going to take a break from the presentation and go right onto the HHQRP website to do a live demo. So that's the plan. And then once we do that live demo, I'm going to hope the last, 7 to 10 minutes, I'm going to give you guys to actually do a little scavenger hunt. There'll be some questions to look at and identify where or which web page you would go to find the answer to those questions. And then we'll do a quick little debrief afterwards. Okay? So does everyone have their scavenger hunt? Did they all locate that? Okay, great. Okie dokie, so this next session is on the Home Health Quality Reporting Program resources. I find that this is a really important presentation because this really helps you guys identify those resources that you need to ensure that you have the tools, the training, the notices of what you need to do when it comes to the OASIS and the CMS-related policies and materials. So I'm going to start this presentation off with just that list of acronyms. This one, because we use a lot of acronyms, is actually about 2 pages long. So here's your first page and your second page of acronyms. And as I mentioned, the objective for today's training is to locate and navigate the Home Health Quality Reporting Program webpage on the CMS website and to identify the resources available to home health providers to enhance their understanding of the HHQRP. So you will see, especially those that are online, you're going to have some screenshots of the different web pages. Understand that those web pages may change, obviously, because we're always updating the sites. So the presentation was current at the time that it was actually developed, although, like I said, you might actually see some differences in screenshots and that kind of thing. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start with the HHQRP website. And, I like starting off to level set with everybody, so I'm going to start off with a knowledge check. Or actually, this is a knowledge check. This is a check-in, I'd like to call this. So how often do you visit the HHQRP webpage on the CMS website? So would you say very frequently, occasionally, monthly, rarely, a few times, or none, I never get on there? And listen, we know you guys are busy people. Multiple priorities, conflicting priorities, right? So we understand that. But, honestly, this is why we're lucky to see you here today. And for those that are participating on the webcast, we really appreciate your time on this stuff. But I do want to stress that the value of these resources. It's important, I think, to somehow figure out how you can get a visit to this webpage integrated into your work week, or maybe even delegate that, not a bad thing, to see what's out there, to see the changes, to know what training we're going to be providing, to know what resources we're going to be putting out there for you. Some really valuable stuff, and best part, it's free, right? So nothing like a good free resource, right? So it looks like most of everybody responded. We got occasionally monthly. Okay, that looks good with rarely a few times, and I love the honesty, never. That's perfectly fine. Let me show you what's out there, and hopefully we can change your mind on that. Okay, let's move on to the actual HHQRP website. This is our fan diagram that talks a little bit about the different pages I'm going to be covering today. We're going to start with the spotlight and announcements, which I'll get into details about what each of these pages are. And then we're going to move into the quality reporting requirements, the home health quality measures, the home health star ratings, the OASIS data set, and then the user manual, okay? And then training, and then data submission deadlines. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to take a break from the presentation, and we'll move over to the live demo, so you guys can kind of see what all that looks like. Okay. Do we have it up yet? Okay, awesome. So I am in my trusty Google page, right? And here I just type in HHQRP, right? Home Health Quality Reporting Program, and I hit enter. And you can see it's kind of one of the first hits I have, because I actually do go on there quite a lot. And I just click on the actual web page there. And this is going to take you to the, and I'm just going to enlarge that a little bit, there we go. This is actually going to take you to the starting page, which is the Home Health Quality Reporting Training page. It just automatically goes there for me. But like I said, we're going to go ahead and start on the spotlight and announcements. So for spotlight and announcements, let's see, are we getting there? Yeah, great. So the big thing about this page is that it announces basically where you can find recent news and updates pertaining to the HHQRP Quality Initiative, announcements about postings of resources, guides, fact sheets, the available Q&A documents, which I know you guys are all eager to look at, especially after a training like this, right? Information about home health care can be found amongst other notifications. It is organized chronologically, so with the newest material at the very top of the page, you'll see there's something here about our pre-training materials. So maybe you guys did go on there to print that out, but you can see that it's located there. Let's see what else. And then also, I just want to make sure we point out specific links to web pages that contain information that most home care agencies are looking for, like the OASIS user manual. In addition, you'll find other registration links for upcoming events. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to show you what that looked like. Okay. And I'm not going to page down the whole page, but you can see here's the Home Health Quality, Home Health Compare Quarterly Refresh that was released back in January. So just lots of information here for you guys to take a look at. The next page is the Home Health Quality Reporting Requirements. And when it comes to this page, it really talks about information regarding the mandate of the reporting of the data captured for the measurement of home care quality. This includes the OASIS reporting mandate, but it also details the requirements for providers within the Home Health Quality Reporting Program. Now, near the bottom of the page, I'm just going to page down a little bit here. You're going to see it talks a little bit about that, like I said, the reporting program requirements. And then here's your information regarding the QAO assessments. And then some really useful links. So your CASPER reporting provider user guide, which I think is huge for those of you who are in charge of running those CASPER reports for your agency. That's a nice place to find that. You'll also see the final rules there posted at the bottom. Okay. In the download section of that page, also you're going to see if there's any memos with regards to like natural disaster reporting requirements and that kind of thing. So again, that was on the Home Health Quality Reporting Requirements webpage. The next webpage we're going to go to is the Home Health Quality Measures page. And this really describes the quality measures that are used in the HHQRP, including the outcome measures, potentially avoidable event measures, and claims-based measures, as well as the process measures. And you'll see those listed here. And all that information associated with those different measures. And it defines them for you as well. So it's a really great place for like your quality manager to go if they're looking at, you know, what is this data that I'm seeing on my CASPER reports, or what is a process measure? At the bottom, you'll see all of these different tables identified as well, and really specifications, calculations, and changes to the quality measures that we identified. Okay. Moving on, we're going to get into the home health star rating. And this provides detailed information regarding patient survey stars and the home health CAPS. It also provides useful links for the questions related to the quality of patient care star ratings. It details regarding the patient care star ratings methodology can also be found here as well. And then near the bottom of that page is where you're going to find more useful links. And again, I'm just going to kind of head down there. And again, you can see stuff is identified here chronologically. And then at the bottom, like I said, the links to webinars, special open door forums, other sites related to the home health stars rating. In the download section, you'll see here, it provides links to sample reports, training summaries, FAQs, and like even fact sheets. You'll see there's some that are listed. I'm going to go back up. Okay, the next page we're going to cover is your OASIS data set. Okay. And your data set basically is the brief background and current updates to the data set and the guidance manual. On the download section, I'm not going to go all the way down the bottom for this page, but the download section of the page captures various references, current guidance manual that is effective as well. I personally like using the OASIS user manual page. That's one of the pages I go to all the time, especially when I'm looking up specific questions and stuff like that with regards to the guidance. So again, you're going to find the most current guidance manual in this section. The download sections are where you're going to find the quarterly Q&As and specific guidance related to the OASIS data set. And I am going to just, that's a quick little download section here. And you'll see like the erratas that get released are posted here as well. You can see the different colors that represent the ones that I go into and I actually use, because it somehow remembers that. So the ones that I actually use are the ones I'm like, oh, okay, I got to go back there and take a look at that. And then at the very bottom of the page, you're going to see more information with regards to related links, the OASIS Q&As, data specifications, the keys system, and the OASIS, yeah. So I think this is the second most used page for myself and what I do as an educator. But the one that I usually use a lot more is the Home Health Quality Reporting Training page. So this one contains a lot of information, and especially for those of you who are wanting to take this back to your agencies and use the training materials that we've developed today. It's out there, it's free, it's for you. The stuff that's in your folder, like for example, I think of the decision tree, the coding decision tree that's in there, you're going to find that here. So these are great resources for you guys. Again, this page is organized chronologically. You'll see our registration for this training listed here. At the bottom, you know, the decision tree that we just mentioned. There's the video recordings, like that's happening right now. We're being video recorded. When we finish that process, that's going to be posted to this site as well. And I mentioned the Q&As as well, because I know you guys are doing such a great job submitting questions. We actually took some time to look at those over lunch, and I know we're going to be having a presentation right after this to talk about those Q&As, but it's not going to be enough time, and you're going to want to see that as a written resource, right? So that's where you're going to find that, is down here at the bottom. And like I said, this is a lengthy page. So you're going to see, again, the training agenda, all the stuff that we upload, that we talked about, Bridget, I talked about earlier, the different parts and what would be contained in those parts. So just to recap on this page, registration of upcoming training, the posting of the pre- and post-training materials, upcoming calls, video recordings of presentations, and then just your training agendas and presentations. So I recommend, like I said, this is the one page that I go to a lot just because I want to make sure I'm up to date on what those opportunities are to help enhance not only my own learning, but to help providers know where they can go to get those resources. Okie doke. After that, I want to get into the home health quality reporting data submission. This page provides an overview of the reporting schedule. There are convenient links for the QAO performance requirements at your quality assessment only. There's also a schedule for key dates for Home Health Compare, identifying the deadlines and when Home Health Compare is updated. So you'll have this nice little grid that kind of gives you those dates so that, again, for your quality manager probably or your administrator, to get in here and get an idea of what those dates are, as they are so very critical. Okay. So with that, now that we've done our little perusal, I just want to go over a few more resources. So we'll go back to the presentation, please. Okay. I'm looking to go back to the slide deck. There we go. Okay. And we've just gone through all of these slides. And I just want to hit here. Great. So other additional HHQRP resources that I want to go over. I just want to again focus on the OASIS-D item set and guidance manual. I think that's one of the biggest pulls, as I think you guys are mostly interested in, is seeing that guidance, knowing what's out there, looking at that data set. It's so much information, you know. I think Dr. Duzesha talked about this manual that was like this. I don't think our guidance manual is that far from being that big at this point, but it's getting there, right? So you'll see that in the HHQRP website, there's the data set and then the user manual. And then within that user manual, you're going to see Appendix C and Appendix G. C is where you have the listing of the items, the time points, and the uses for those items. And then whereas G is the actual change table outlining all the revisions, additions, and removals found in the OASIS-D data set. You know, really seeing how different it is at this point. So we all know that we have, I hope, OASIS educational coordinators. Each state has a designated OASIS educational coordinator with the responsibility to ensure that all home care providers have access to the training in the OASIS data set administration, the training and technical support in integrating the OASIS items in the agency's record-keeping system, and then the technical support in answering questions of the clinical aspects of the OASIS. Now, I just want to make sure that we understand that this doesn't have to do with technical support that is related to any like EMR support or like, oh, my EMR doesn't have this question or something. That's not who you'd reach out to. You'd go back to your EMR vendor for that question. Okie doke. So know that you can reach out to your OASIS educational coordinators, and if you have any really real questions that you want to reach out to them, please, that's how you're going to find them. In addition, there's help desks. I want to go over these for the HHQRP OASIS guidance related questions. That's going to be your home health quality help desk. For conditions of participation related questions, I'm going to invite you to go to your home health agency survey protocols mailbox. And then for your home health prospective payment system policy related questions, that's your home health policy mailbox. So in looking at this, I just want to make sure, I want to go back to that first one, which is your home health quality help desk. Because I think for the people that are in this room, it's really important that you know what kind of questions you can ask there. And we want to hear these questions. We want to hear from you. So any questions regarding the quality manual, the quality measurements, the risk adjustment, public reporting, your QAO or your pay for reporting, and in measure calculations, whether that be, you know, your outcome-based quality improvement or quality monitoring, calculations, your process-based quality improvement, your quality of patient star care rating, or your home health compare. So anything related to that can go to this home health quality help desk. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew where to go when you have those questions. Because again, you might be, looking at this at a later time and think, oh man, I have this question, where can I go? This is gonna be one of the big ones where you're gonna wanna head. Now, technical help. There's also a technical help desk for data submission and certification surveyor provider enhancement reports, also better known as CASPER, right? And your quality improvement and evaluation systems, your keys, technical support, office, which is what I like to call your CUTSO help desk, right? And they can be reached at this phone number, this email, or even at that website. And just a disclaimer, when you're reaching out to any of the help desks or to get any of the technical support, just be sure that you're not sending any identifiable patient information through the email, such as medical record numbers, date of birth, service dates, or any other data items that could be considered identifiers for protected health information. Just as far as rulemaking goes, know that proposed and final rules are published in the Federal Register and typically released each year in July and November, and that we do have proposed and final rules posted on that page that's listed there. Another, I know that we mentioned it earlier in Kathy's presentation, but we do have this Impact Act of 2014 site, which again has its own spotlight and announcements, this Act stakeholders and engagement opportunities, your SPADES or standardized patient data elements, just the downloads, videos, archived information, or you can even submit a question if it's related to the Impact Act. One of these resources, I like this resource a lot. This is your Medicare Learning Network. You can go on, and it's, again, free educational material that's out there for you providers. And it really focuses on CMS programs, policies, initiatives. I do recommend that you subscribe to this to make sure you don't miss it. There's a weekly email newsletter that goes out to all the healthcare professionals, and there are the sites by which you can engage and subscribe. We also want to hear from you guys when it comes to home health issues. We have these open door forums, and we have one that's kind of combined with hospice and durable medical equipment. And it's really issues related to home health PPS, newly proposed competitive bidding for DME, the hospice benefit are all topics that are covered in that forum. And again, it's a subscription where you can get a newsletter that tells you what the latest topic is and when that forum is being held. And I just like to, in this section here real quick with training information and updates, if you guys want to know what is the next thing we're putting out, because we're all working very hard to get that information out to you in a way that you can use it, in a way that will be beneficial to you and your agency. We invite you to go to the Spotlights and Announcements page, because again, that's where you're going to hear about that, and your home health quality reporting training page, which is that first page. As soon as you hit HHQRP, that comes up. That page is where you're going to be able to do the registration, but also look at the post-training materials, right? What gets posted? I know you guys are eager to get those slide decks with the answers, right? So that's where it's going to be, okay? Your Q&As that you guys we're going to be addressing today, that's where that's going to be. Okay, so I think it's time to engage in a little bit of a scavenger hunt. So I'm going to give you guys anywhere between 6 to 7 minutes because I think this is a pretty easy exercise. At your groups at your table, I'd like for you guys to pull out your scavenger hunt, and I locate and identify the pages described in the HHQRP website scavenger hunt activity sheet, and then refer to the list of HHQRP web pages for potential responses. So I think we're going to come back in about, let me see, I'm going to say right shy of like maybe 2 or 3 minutes of the hour. And then we can debrief that, okay? Okay, are we doing well with the activity? Or I'm not so sure if I see some more casual conversation or if we're still working. Are we all set with it? Can we move forward? I'm seeing some nods. Yeah? Are we good? Okay, excellent. Okie doke, so let's see how we did. Question number 1. Today's training agenda can be found in the download section of this page. What do you guys think? Right, right. The home health quality reporting training. Excellent. This page communicates the important announcements and updates regarding the home health QRP. Spotlight, yeah, good, excellent. The guidance manual for the OASIS-D version and of the OASIS dataset is in the download section of this page. All right, consensus there, excellent, nice. Okay. This page provides a list of the current home health QRP measures, including descriptions of each measure type and links to the measure specifications. Home health quality measures page. Okay. The registration announcement for today's training was posted on the following 2 pages. We just talked about that. Right, right. The home health quality reporting training and the spotlight and announcements. Great. Answers to provider questions from this training will be posted in the download section of this page. Right, the home health quality reporting training page. This page provides agencies with the quality assessment only reporting schedule for 2019. Right, right. The home health quality reporting data submission deadlines. 8 measures included on the quality of patient care star ratings are identified on this page. Star ratings, good. Home health star ratings. Okay. So again, CMS, the CMS Home Health Quality Reporting website is your primary source for information regarding all aspects of the QRP. There are several QRP help desks available to assist agencies and additional resources that provide free educational materials on the CMS programs, policies, and initiatives are available. So as far as action plans, the one thing I'd like for you guys to think about is, again, if you're one of those people that rarely or never get on the HHQRP website, think about how that can change. How often can you get on there to see? Because things do get updated on those sites. So that's a little thought I'd like to leave with you guys today, and I think we're going to move on to the Q&A. So thank you so much for your attention.